Welcome to episode 23.
23, yeah.
I think we got lost somewhere. We got lost somewhere around the Christmas period, so we're going to go for 23. Welcome to episode 23 of the Rugby Nats Chat Show. How are you, Mike?
I'm fine, and a new partner in crime this evening. Paul's not managed to join us.
Part-timer.
Part-timer, yeah.
Were you watching the mighty Reading Engines Rams this weekend?
I actually went down to Barnstable.
Okay.
It's a lovely little club. I think there were about 700 people there watching the match. Great atmosphere. We came away with a good win. It was a good win there. I thought we were convincing, although the score wouldn't suggest that. Barnstable kept on battling, which was encouraging. There's an interesting note in the programme by their coach, actually, which I'll speak about at some length in a moment, about he feels that this season, last season they got 51 points to stay in the league, and Steve Perry, their coach, this year feels that 51 points won't be enough. So if you use that as a criteria, the bottom end of National 2 South could actually be very, very interesting in the couple of weeks, because we're now 2/3 of the way through in the main. There are matches this weekend obviously being played because of the weather, the bad weather. So they've been rearranged matches.
Well, we'll come on to National 2 South later on in the show, but I think before we get into that, we need to make a public apology, shall we say. I went onto Twitter a couple of weeks ago and opened up my phone to receive a substantial amount of abuse, not just from Banbury Rugby Club, but from the whole of Banbury Town, apparently. So do apologise. In a long story short, I think you were going through the results roundup, and Banbury a few weeks ago beat Old Batasians. They ended their winning streak.
Unbeaten record, yeah. Good win for them.
Very good win, and I think there was a little comment made. So we do apologise, but Banbury's they're a great rugby club. I don't know if you've been there, but they're very clearly passionate fans. We actually watched them when they went to Everest Road back in end of September, early October, when they lost 15-0. And whilst I think the weather sort of played into Old Pat's hands, they've got a really good squad. They've got a lumpy 12 who can break the game line, a fullback who's twinkle toes, and they've got a scrum half who's brilliant. He's sniping all over the time, proper nuisance in the scrum half.
And they are second in Southwest One.
They are indeed. I think
East,
I think they will beat Chippenham to that playoff spot.
That'll be interesting, because I say we're 2/3 of the way through now. So
I think they'll take that playoff spot. It depends who goes up from Southwest One and One West, because they'll play them in the playoffs. So I think that'll be interesting. So people of Banbury, we do apologise. Shall we get into some of the results?
Absolutely. We'll start off with National 1 North. Now, just a slight difference this week. I will deal with the side that is leading the table, Coventry. They're 21 points ahead, and they dispatched Cambridge quite comfortably on Saturday, 40 points to 10. But before actually I do upset the Cambridge supporters, it was 19-10 at half time. So, fair play to Cambridge for staying with them. But your favourite side, Plymouth Albion, they had a good win, beating Darlington, who are in second place. They beat them 34-18 at Plymouth. It's the sides at the bottom, actually, because the File are down there. Old Albanians had a good win to beat Bishop Stortford in a local Hertfordshire derby, 36-17. Right. So that's a good win for them. It doesn't take them out of the danger zone by any stretch of the imagination. But two sides that were trying to get out of that zone were Loughborough and Hull Ionians. Hull Ionians are third from bottom. Loughborough are fourth. And the match at Hull ended in a 15-all draw.
Okay.
So it didn't really solve any problems that they might have. But I think you do find at this time of the season, if you have a look through the results, a lot of the lower sides now are thinking, hey, we're in the mire, we need to extricate ourselves from a specific situation, and we want to stay in this league. And you're seeing one or two upsets, which I'll cover in a moment. But certainly in this National 1, if you look at it, you've got Hull and you have Loughborough Students ahead of them by 8 or 9 points. You have, depending on the position, you've got Cambridge, Esher, Caldy, and Rosslyn Park. But with 35 points going, and in some instances more because of rearrangements, it's possible that one or two of these sides could be dragged into it. And Hull Ionians and Loughborough started winning. Albanians, a good win for them. So I don't think it's going to be as clear cut as you would have said a few weeks ago. I think that there would be a lot of interest in who stays in that league.
Filed, hate to say it, but I think they're...
Yeah, it's a great shame, Bill Beaumont's club. Great tradition up there, but leagues don't lie, and perhaps they've got to go down, look at where they are, and then move. Look to come up again. Not impossible, but I think they would be relegation favourites.
They've been a great asset to National One as well. It's a fantastic place. We went up there in Series 1, very wide pitch. They play a lovely, expansive style of rugby. So it'd be a great shame, but I think they are gone, aren't they, with 18 points?
I think so. Yeah. I think they are indeed. In National 2 North, there is considerable interest at the top.
See, for me, this has got to be the most exciting league.
I think so. It is probably the most open. Now, Sale, I think unbeaten now in 14 matches. Okay. For me, they would be my favourites to win it. They hammered Otley 39-5 on Saturday. They're 4 points ahead with a game in hand over some of their challenges. Stourbridge move into second place with a 41-34 win over Sedgley Park, who were in the top 4, and Park now go down to 4th place. Hinkley, who've been first and then second, had a nail-biting encounter with Tyndale. They managed to clinch it, and they now are in 3rd position, and whilst Tyndale are in 5th. But out of those 5 sides, Sale, Stourbridge and Tyndale, Sale, Stourbridge and Hinkley are just pulling ahead. And I think it's going to be between the 3 of those, actually. There's a little bit of space now between 4th and 5th.
I put my money on Sale at the start of the season.
Good call. I do fancy Stourbridge, but Hinkley have done well. They've led the table. They're still in there. I don't think you can dismiss them.
Yeah, they didn't have the greatest starts either, did they?
Not really. They lost a couple of games early on, but then they've come back, and they've come back pretty strongly. But once they got up the top, then they started probably a little bit of nerves, worrying about it, and they were knocked off the pedestal. National 2 South, I think it's going to be a 2-horse race there. Cinderford and Chinner. Cinderford had a good win away at Broad Street, who were bottom. Chinner, a good win at 24-19 at Old Reds. Now, Old Reds have been winning games. They've been picking up bonus points. They're difficult to beat at home. Once again, it can be sides dragged into this relegation battle, because Wimbledon had a good win over London Irish on Saturday. It was 46-21, and that was a good win for them. Bonus point as well. So you had them, and then 4 points above them. You've got Clifton, and they managed to. They lost to Taunton. It was a close game. They gave a good account of themselves, but they've not been winning matches, and they're coming down. London Irish have only won 1 over the last 6, I think I'm correct in saying, and they're sneaking into it. Barnstable, having watched them on Saturday, I don't think they'll face relegation. I think they've got 1 or 2 difficult games coming up, but to me they look a capable side of staying in there. But I think London Irish a couple of years ago were in a similar position where they'd had some good wins. They looked to be safe. They slipped down and they were relegated. So I think they'll be obviously looking to improve their record pretty quickly and get out of this relegation zone.
I think Barnstable were in the same position last year, weren't they?
They did, yeah. I mean, it was their first year in the league. I think they've done well, and they've got a nice little side. They're 1 or 2 very, very nice players indeed. So I think that I don't know. I can't, but you never know. You never know. I mean, Wimbledon. If you'd have asked me a month or so ago, Wimbledon and Redcliffeians, I wouldn't have thought they'd be actually making this comeback, as it were.
So off the top of your head, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No.
What is the league at the bottom?
Right, okay,
end
I can easily tell you that by referring to this.
Oh.
We've got Broad Street. I'd say they've gone on 25, but you've got Wimbledon 34. You have Redcliffeans 39. Sorry, 36.
Yeah.
No, 35. Sorry, and Clifton 39. And London, London Irish Wild gave 43. Now, those sides seem to be out of it, but 7 games left. It's not that clear cut.
Yeah.
And I think that it's going to be a very exciting finish in that league.
And in the top, so we've obviously got Cinderford. For me, Cinderford have practically run away with it now. Chinno, they'll go through to the playoffs, I think. Taunton and your team, Reading Enzians, Rams. Do you think Reading Enzians are going to
get third? That will be the highest position. We've been 8th, we were then 6th, and now this would be 3rd. We play them on the 24th at home. Okay. Now, oddly enough, they're the side that always held the Indian sign over us. We've never beaten them. So it's a great opportunity, and I know the guys will be up for it. I know that they'll want to beat Taunton.
And that's the 24th
of March.
At Old Bath Road.
At Old Bath Road, so that will be a good one. If we move on to the regional leagues, in the London, not much has changed. You've really got Tring and Hertford are winning matches, but you've got Guernsey and you've got Barnes occupying 1st and 2nd. Now, Guernsey 6 points ahead of Barnes. Both sides won at the weekend, but 7 games to go. I think, 6 in this league. I don't know. Things are becoming tight, and I do fancy Barnes. For some reason, they were in the National League last year. They were always a good side, some very good players whom in the main they've retained. I just have a feeling that they'll do it.
They're a good, experienced side. They're always yo-yoing, aren't they? National 2, level 5, level 4.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I fancy Guernsey. We went there last season.
Yes,
it's a hard place to go, but it's also a beautiful place to go.
Yeah.
Great facilities, and you can have some fun there as well.
Well, I mean, it'd be quite an interesting one if they do get into National League Rugby. Yeah. Guernsey. I mean, you go back 10 years. I mean, Jersey and Guernsey, as regards the top flight of English rugby, you wouldn't have even heard of them. But I mean, Jersey obviously done particularly well, but now Guernsey are in a very, very strong position, and I'm sure there are a number of clubs in National League 2 South who would like them promoted because of the weekends away.
I'm sure they do.
I think that would be one on the agenda. In the Midlands, Birmingham Solihull had a bit of a problem last week, and they're having their first defeat. They beat New Bold on Avon 28-3 this weekend, so they topped the league. I think that they're, personally, I think they'll finish first there, and I think it's beginning to look whether Peterborough might do the same. But again, you're saying it all the time. It's early days with 6 games still to come. And the pressure's on. In the north, Preston Grasshoppers are again lost their unbeaten record of late. They dispatched Popcliffe 25-17, and they're 91 points. They have nearest challengers Harrogate on 71, then Lymm on 70. Those two are sort of fighting out that playoff place. They have a game in hand, both of them on Preston, but that would probably reduce it by 15 to 15 points lead. In the south, Dings opened their new ground. Evidently it was a great occasion, good turnout. They had a very, very encouraging win, and just looking
I
through
still want
this,
to see some pictures of these Dings ground,
Yeah,
actually.
I
If
know,
there's any Dings fans out there, send them through to us. It'd be good to see, because they've got a 3G pitch.
Yeah, that's right. Well, they played Western, who are down the bottom, but it was a good win, a good occasion, a bumper crowd, as they've said here. So it was 34-26, so it was entertaining as well. Dings, I think they've got that nailed on. Now then, who's going to get the playoff place? I felt quite strongly, Maidenhead would be there. Now, on Saturday, a massive surprise for all the pundits, the local pundits, for the Berkshire Derby.
Yeah.
Newbury are suffering a few injuries. They were in an extended relegation zone, and they actually thumped Maidenhead 51-22. First defeat for Maidenhead, I think, in 2 years at home.
Yeah, because we were trying to work that out off camera, weren't we? When was the last time they lost? And I mean, that's a hell of a thumping.
Ah, very much so. And well, I mean, fair play to Newbury. Takes them out of that zone, and a good win for them.
So they've done the double over Maids this
They have indeed. Bracknell have done the double over Newbury, and Maidenhead have beaten Bracknell and in the first derby match, and have are playing them at home in a couple of weeks' time. So as it could work out, there'll be no sort of Berkshire champion. Each of them are beating each other. So it's good stuff. But congratulations there to Newbury. But I still think Maidenhead, they've got a match this week rearranged against Ivy Bridge. Not an easy journey. They made it before the game had been called off. Hopefully that won't occur on Saturday. I think if they can get a win there, get back into their stride, I think they'll be genuine contenders for the playoff. But we'll wait and see. I thought it'd be a good point. We've covered levels National 1 down to level 6, looking at sides who've been unbeaten, and one or two of the unbeaten records have gone on. But I thought I'd extend it now a couple of levels. I've gone down now to level 7 and 8. Now the reason being is I think that any side, whatever level you're at, if you can go through the season or 2/3 of the season unbeaten, you must be doing something right, and you must have a useful squad of players. And there are 5 sides at that level. 6 sides at that level who level 7 or 8 who remain unbeaten at the moment. In London, you've got Rochford 100 from London to North East, who are 17 from 17. Dartfordians 17 from 17 in London to South East. In the Midlands, Whitchurch 15 from 15. In Midlands to West North, and Droitwich 16 from 16 in Midlands West South. Winnington Park, they're the only side in the north at 7 and 8 that are unbeaten. They're top of South Lakes in Cheshire, and they've won 17 from 17. And in the southwest, only one side again from Cornwall, Liskeard and Looe in Cornwall 1. So and they top that at level 8. So I mean, all of these sides, that's fantastic. And 2 weeks' time, we'll have a look at a bit further down and see if there's anybody still unbeaten.
Probably jinx them all, won't you?
They'll probably all.
Sorry,
2 weeks' time, all gone.
Probably get some more abuse on the Twitter as well.
Absolutely.
Any games to look out for this week?
Well, I think I think
on.
that we've got rearranged games. And the ones that have actually caught my eye.
We've got a big one, haven't we? National 1.
National 1. You have Darlington entertaining Coventry.
Should we have a little wager on this?
I wouldn't be surprised now if Darlington won that.
Yeah.
Coventry, a good side, but Darlington know they're not going to win the lead, but I think they'll be keen to make a point. So I would favour them. The other one for me is Hull Ionians, the side I was talking about. They've got Rosslyn Park at home. If they beat the Park come into that relegation tussle, and Hull Ionians sort of ease themselves out of it. So, or to a certain extent out of it. So to me, that's a good one. Up north, in National 2 North, I think Tyndale and Stourbridge at Tyndale.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah, that'll be a good one because Stourbridge want to retain that second place. Yeah. So it is a must-win game for them. And in the southwest, as I said, you've got Maidenhead against Ivy Bridge. And a local derby, you've got Exmouth, who are playing Newton Abbot. So then again, that will also influence the playoff position because Newton Abbot are up there as well.
Of course. And we've got some cup games, but it's difficult to find out who's playing who in the cup on the website.
I know one because he told me that's Windsor against Beaconsfield.
He keeps going on about that.
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed with the cup coverage. You can't actually always get the fixtures up, and
it's difficult.
Yeah, the rounds are at times played at different dates as well, which doesn't assist.
And of course, we've got the internationals. Yeah. Now I know you're leading 4-2.
4-2. Yeah, 4-2. Are you going to? Have you?
I'll step in.
I'll take on both of you then. Go on.
Well, no, go on. You go first.
Right, Friday night then. You've got Italy and you have France. in Paris. Yeah, I to be honest, I mean Italy, you know, Conor O'Shea was going to change everything. I think that was a bit harsh, really, because I think he's gone in there to try and perhaps make changes to the structure. I think that's long term. I mean, Italy to me just seems to be same old, same old. They play in bits and pieces. France have gone through a difficult period, obviously enjoying themselves on a night out, which has got them a little bit of trouble because they haven't gone about it the right way. So one or two players missing. I think that France at home, I just fancy them, and I also think that you know, it could be a rejuvenation of French fortunes. That win at home, and then you know they've been through quite a torrid time. You know, small steps, but I do fancy them. Ireland.
I agree with you on that one.
Right. Okay. So you're going with me. Yeah. Ireland and Wales. Well, oddly enough, I was remembering the 70s and 80s. Ireland, when Wales were, you know, at their zenith, Ireland would often pull a surprise. And recently, it's been the other way round. Ireland have been, you know, the top dog, and Wales have sprung a surprise. But it's Warren Gatland's 100th game. You know, he's got history having coached Ireland, and they didn't really. He didn't leave there in a particularly pleasant for him situation. I think there's one or two grudges held there. So there'd be a lot of hype to this game, but I just fancy Ireland at home. I think they are a good side. I think they will be very, very difficult to beat over in Dublin. So I would say Ireland. Yeah.
I'm going to go for the Irish as well.
Right. Okay. All right.
I'm just going to follow you on everything.
Yeah.
No, I do fancy Ireland. In Ireland.
Then the last one, Scotland and England. You know, I read the press, and it's as if a lot of the time they want to talk up a Scottish win. That it, you know, I don't know, it reinvents the Scottish game, because they over the last few years, you know, they haven't been at their best. But they had improved under Cotter, I think. Whether they can actually take England on Saturday, I don't think so. I think that a lot's been read into this sort of expansive style they want to play, which is fine, but it didn't really come off against the Welsh. And England, you know, they're a competent side. They do have their lapses discipline-wise, but I can't see Scotland winning. I just think England will just be too strong for them. If they play this sort of power game, and if they retain their focus and keep their discipline. I mean, Scotland could upset it. You can never write them off there. But I just think, for me, it makes sense England will win that one.
I agree. I think that's going to be a lot tougher game than what I've been reading here on TalkSport.
Yes.
I think it's going to be a tough game, because I'd love to go there, Murrayfield.
Yeah.
Apparently the atmosphere for England and Scotland is something else.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to go something different to you, because we can't go the same. I'll go for Wales. I'll go for Wales against Ireland.
You're going to go for Wales?
I'll go for Wales.
And for England against Scotland?
England against Scotland.
Right, so he's changing that. So everyone's got that, then he's changed his mind. Well, that's fine. So it'll be a good weekend. There is some club rugby on, so for rearranged matches, get out and support those. The Under-20s County Championship on the Sunday, that's the second round of that, so there's lots of matches in your locality. Have look those up, go along to that, and also Rugby Weekend, which starts on Friday night and can carry through now to Saturday as well. Enjoy watching rugby.
In trouble with the missus.
You will be.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Apologies again to Banbury. Thought I'd throw that one out there again. But if there's any topics that you want us to put in over the coming weeks, or if there's anyone that actually wants to come on, get your point across, drop us a message, comment below, let us know. Thank you.